Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to work on yet another project, and in this project we are going to work on a voting system application. So this is not going to be a very big application. This is specifically for beginners. So if you are new to Java, Spring Boot, Thymeleaf and maybe to database technologies, this project is for you. So before we move on to this project, if you are new to my channel, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I see that a lot of people are watching my videos but not yet subscribing, so please do that. It doesn't take a long to just hit that subscribe button. So now without wasting any more time, let's work on the project. Alright, so first thing first is that we need to generate a project. So for this I'm going to go with these settings: Java, Maven, the default Spring Boot for me is this one, and I'll just give an artifact name. So let's go with voting app, voting system app. Let's do all of this in small cases. Now what do we need? We need dependencies. So we need Spring Web, that's the first. Then we need JPA for database connectivity. Now what database are we going to use? We are going to go with S2, and we need Thymeleaf for Frontend. What else are we missing? I think that's about it. We should be needing dev tools also, but that's not a must. So let's generate this project, and the next step is to extract this zip file and import it to your favorite IDE. So I'll be using IntelliJ for this. Alright, now let's import this project. Alright, so it's imported now. Alright, so while the project is downloading the Maven dependencies, what we can do is we can slowly make our changes. So first thing first is that we need to make changes to our application.properties. Like I said that we are going to go with S2 database, so we don't need anything concrete here. We don't need any GUI application. It's a simple database. So we need only these set of properties. Here what do we get? So this is your data source properties, and here we have basic four things. First is your URL, which means that where exactly is your database. Second is your class name, driver class name, as in which driver are you going to use to connect to your database. Then you have your username, which is default as SA, and the password as password. This you can change, that's pretty much customized. This one is for your database platform, so I'm going to go with Hibernate and then console. So I want to query in the database whether I have enough data in my tables or not. So for that I want to enable the console, which is we are doing through here. Now we are done with application.properties. Now we have to work on our entities first so that we have tables. So let's create a package, and this one is going to be your entity, and here we are going to go with. So let me give you an idea. So what exactly do we need? I think we forgot to talk about that. So we are talking about a voting application. So when we say about voting, it's not basic election kind of a thing. This is not about that. This is like you are doing a survey or something like that. So let's say that there is an application, so we have to get a poll. So for a poll we need to raise questions, and there are going to be some options on that or answers. So first thing is that you have to provide an option where user can create a question, right? Second is the options for that question, and third is to submit that poll or survey on that question. Fourth thing is to provide the results, as in how many votes did you get on which option. So that is going to be the entire application use case. So let me summarize again. First is your question, second is your answers or options to that question, Third is to do voting on that question or poll. Fourth is to showcase the results on, as in how many votes did you get on a particular option, right? So this is what we have to do. It's not a huge application, and I don't think we have to summarize this in a diagram, so that's okay. So first thing is your question. So for this I'm going to go with poll. Now this is going to have two things. First is your ID, which is your primary key. Second is your question, right? So here we have the question. Now we need options also. So for this we are going to have a mapping with another entity which is going to be option. So let's quickly create that class. Alright, so here we are going to have a mapping as in list of option, and let's say option list equals to new array list. I hope this part is clear. Now when I say list, this means that I can have n number of options, which means that a poll can have n number of options. So this is a one-to-many mapping. So let's do that. Now there are going to be two set of properties here. One is your mapped by. So mapped by is simple, through which parameter are you mapping this. So I'll name this as poll in further section of this video. Then you have cascade. So this is as in where do you want to cascade. So I'm going to cascade type. I'm going to use cascade type.all. Now this is going to be your primary key. So let's annotate this with primary key ID. Now generated value is going to be identity. Alright, so we have a lot of things. Now the first thing that we should have done is that this is going to be an entity. Now what do we need more? We need setters and getters, right? So I could have used Lombok here, so let's go with that. Okay, wait a minute. So let's add Lombok, explore, go down and use this. Go to pom.xml, scroll down, here we have a space, add it and rescan. Alright, so while it is downloading, what do we need? We need getter and we need setter. Alright, so going with option now. So this is again an entity. You can use table annotation here as well, which is to signify that this is a table. Also you can provide a different name if you don't want to create it as exactly similar to the class name. So let's say if I do table name equals to options, in that case it will create the name as options on the table rather than option. Alright, now what do we need here? So the common thing is going to be your ID. Now option is going to have a name, as in option, let's do description, and then votes. How many votes did you get on this option? That we will save here. Now the last thing is going to be the mapping that we were talking about. So this is poll, right? So here if you see the name, the names are matching. So this is poll and here we gave the name poll. Now here the mapping is going to be reverse, as in this is going to be many to one. So this means that there can be many options assigned to one poll. Now this is going to be again a join column with the name as poll ID. Alrighty, now what else do we need? Let's annotate, let's copy here. So this is going to be common, so let's not write it, paste it here. And what else, getters and setter. Alright, right, so we are done with entity of option and poll. What else do we need? As I said, we have to print a proper result as well, as in how many votes did we get. So for that I'm going to have a different form data kind of a thing, and that is going to be your poll data. So let's create another class, poll data. Now this is not going to be an entity, this is just to provide an object through which you can fetch the data and print it to the front end page, right? So what it is going to have, it is simply going to have question and answers, as in private string question and private list of string options. Alright, so this is kind of like a record class. I'm not going to go with that right now because I want to keep it simple. Not much of us are going to be aware about this feature which came in Java 16. Anyways, we need getter and setter here. Alright, now the last thing is going to be your vote. Now here again, this is going to be a table, so we need ID, we need poll ID, and lastly we need options, so list of option. Alright, so let's remove this, we don't need this here. This is going to be an ID, so let's copy this, and this is going to be a many to one mapping, so this is going to be option ID. So this vote table is going to have information, so on which poll you choose which option, right? So that information we want to save in this vote. Now this is again just to keep it simple. We could have an option without using this vote class, and I'll try, if it is easy enough, then I'll try not to go with this vote class. So right now we are done with our entities, so let's create getter setter, and then we can work on our controller class. I hope everything is clear. If not, you can also let me know on the comment section. Now understanding wise, we are done with entity. Next thing is that we need a controller class, but before that we need DAO and service. So let's create a package for your repo, which is your DAO layer, and for this we will create an interface, and this is going to be your poll repo. First thing first is that we need to use JPA here, so JPA repository, and the type is going to be poll, and the primary key type is going to be integer. Alright, now you can annotate this with repository, but that's not compulsory, so let's leave it like that. Now what do we need? We need option repo also, so interface option repo, and I should copy from here, and we just need to modify that this is not going to be poll, rather option. Alright, now we need vote repo also, so vote repo, and here we can do vote. let's remove this. Alrighty, so we are done. Alright, now let's work on yet another package, which is going to be our service. Now here we need only two service classes, right? So first is going to be your obvious one, which is poll service. So here we are going to have basic three methods. So first is going to be your get all polls. Second is going to be get poll by ID, and third is create poll. All right. Public list of type poll, and here we will just return private poll repo, and let's auto wire this. Poll repo dot find all. Alright, now here this is going to just return a poll object, and here we will have long null, while we just need int id. And in this case again we will have a method which is find by id, and here we will provide the id. So this will return an optional. So if in case it is not there, in that case throw an exception, right? Now here this is going to be a void, because we can return the poll object here also, but let's not go with that. So here we will get an object which we will save through poll repo. So save and poll, that's it. So this is pretty much simple. We didn't do much. We only needed these three methods and we kept it simple. Now let's close everything up. Now what else do we need? Like I said, we need two service here, right? So next is your voting service. This is going to be a merger of your option repo and vote repo. So like I said, this is going to be a merger, so we are going to use vote repo instance, as well as we are going to use option repo instance. We need to auto wire them both. Alright, now what do we need? So here we only need two methods, so pretty much simple, right? So public list of, let's import list first, of option, as in get all options. So in this case we are just going to return list of options. So let's use option repo dot find all. That's it. Second is your create vote. So here we will get an vote object. So here we have to create a vote object. So let's go with poll ID here. So first thing is that we need to find the poll object through this poll ID. Oh sorry, this is going to be option ID, really sorry. So we need to find the option through this option ID. So option repo dot find by ID, and here we will provide option ID, or else throw, and we will get this in an option object. Now why are we getting this option? So we have to save an vote object. So vote object pretty much ask us to provide a poll ID and option list, right? Well, let's do one thing. Let's ignore vote repo for now. I'll clean up this code. But for now, what do we want here? Create vote, as in we want to provide a counter in the table that on this option we got a vote. So when I say a vote, it could be possible that there are no votes, as in we can increment it by 1. But if there are, let's say, 3 votes already there, then we will just do 3 plus 1. So first is that we need to get the votes on this option, which we can get through this votes, right? So let's do that. So option dot get votes, and then we will do plus 1. All right, now we need to set this. Where is so option dot set votes, and we are done. Now we have the option object with us. We simply need to save this. Oops. Option repo dot save, and we will do option here. Alright, now let's rename this because this doesn't make sense. So rename it to option service. Alright, now we are done with our service as well. Now what do we need? We need controller, and that's the only thing when we talk about backend, and then we need front end to be done. So controller, and this is our backbone. So let's do poll controller, and we are going to handle everything through this controller, so no need to create any other controller. We can say home controller as well, but yeah, let's do that. Alright, so first thing first is that we need instance of poll service and your option service. Now the first mapping is going to be your index mapping, so you can say home page. So this is going to be a get mapping and index. Now we need model. Now what does this going to return? So in the index page we want our polls to be printed if they are available. If not, we will also see an option to create a poll, right? So that we are going to work on our home page. So for now, model dot add attribute polls and poll service dot get all polls, and then we will return the page which is going to be index. Alright, second mapping is going to be, sorry for doing this late, second mapping is going to be to view a particular poll, right? So let's say if you have multiple polls you want to go to or submit a vote on a particular poll. For that you need an option or a separate page through which you can click on that and then submit the vote, right? So view poll. Now the mapping is again your get mapping, and this is going to be like poll and then ID. So path variable int ID, and then your model is must. So model dot add attribute. Now we get an ID, so through that ID we will fetch the poll object, pass it on to the front end so that it can display everything there, right? So this is simple poll object, and here we will say poll service dot get, what did we use, poll service get poll by id. Okay, why am I not seeing it? Is it private? Okay, my bad. Public, and now we should be able to see it. Get poll by id, and then simply return the page which is going to be poll. Now for this get mapping you need a post mapping. Why? On this page where you are seeing the poll information, first is your question, second is going to be your list of options through which you can choose. It is not going to be multiple choice, it is going to be like radio buttons, you can choose any one of them, and then when you click on submit on that page you want to be redirected to a post mapping, and that post mapping is going to be to save the poll. So here we will redirect, here we will say create poll. Now what will we get here? We will get an object of type poll. So, and here we will get not poll but poll data, and this is going to be an model attribute. Now here what we can do is we can use your, so here we have to use a way to convert this poll data to poll, because in poll service you have a create poll which demands a poll object, right? First way could be that you just get poll data exactly from the UI. That's okay, you can do that. But rendering the data is also good. You can have more information in a separate Pojo class, right? So yeah, it's not a difficult thing to create a new poll object. Simple. So here what do we have? If we talk about set, we have option, we have question, and ID is generated by default. So talking about question, this we can get from poll data. So poll data dot get question, and this is to get the so what we are doing here, let me recap on this. We are not submitting on a vote here, we are creating a new poll, which means you are creating a question and the answers to that poll, right? Don't get confused, this is simple. First thing is to create a question and answers, then on the second part we are going to submit a poll which will create a vote, right? That's okay. Now this get question we have, now we have to iterate over options. So this poll data is going to give us a list of string. We need to convert this list of string to list of options. So how do we do that? To keep it simple, let's just iterate over that list. So poll data dot get options. So here we will say string option str. All right, now create a new option object. Here you will just set the information which is going to be description and poll. That's it. You don't have to set votes here. So first is going to be a description. So poll, sorry. So that is going to be your option str. Then you have poll. And so for this you can set poll. Now here we need a list of option. Alright, not a difficult code, keeping it really simple. Option. So through this for loop we are going to get an option list, and then what we can do, we can just set this option list like this, and then we can create the poll using this poll object. Now once this is done, in that case we want to redirect to our home page, this. So for this we will do something like, now the last thing is to create a vote on this poll. So what we will do, we will simply have a mapping create vote, and so this vote create vote option is going to be generated using your option ID, right? So here post mapping, say vote int option ID, and here we will use option service dot create vote, and here we'll provide option ID. And this create vote is not returning anything back, so again you can copy this line, we will go to the home page. Now last thing is that so what we did, we first provided a way a mapping through which we can see existing polls. Second is to create a new poll, this part is your second part. Third part is to submit a vote on a particular poll, and then to see the results. So public string poll results, so this is going to be a get mapping, and poll ID results, get the ID through your path variable, use model to pass this ID, but how? Through a poll object. So here we will do poll service dot get poll by ID, and this is going to be a separate page. So this is going to be a separate page, so here we will do results. Alright, so it looks good. We just need to create 3 pages: index, poll, and results. Alright, so let's create the index page first. HTML file index.html. Now this I'm going to explain. Okay, so let's understand this. Here we are using Bootstrap, which is my favorite, and I'm not going to do a depth discussion on what this is. This is a simple front-end framework to beautify your application. It looks good, that's why we are using it. Now the most important thing is this your UL. So what is this? Let's say that you don't have any poll, right? In that case I have an if condition which says that if the list is not empty, in that case iterate over that polls list and print everything one by one. Alright, so when we say one by one, we have a header which is your question, poll question, and then you have a separate row for a submit button and a view result page. So this means that if you have, let's say, 2 questions, as in 2 polls, in that case you will have 2 rows. First row will have a question and then 2 buttons. The second row will have a question and 2 buttons. So when you click on view results, it will redirect you to results page where you will see the result for that particular poll. If you click on this submit vote, then you will be asked to submit a vote through another page, right? If it is empty, then it will just say that no polls available. So this is your empty condition. Now again we have a new section which is to create a new poll. Here if you see that we have a single div tag here which says question. So here you will provide the question. Now for option we only have a single div tag, which means that we can have only one option, but no. If you click on this add button, we have this function add option, through which we are going to go here. So here what it will do is it will get the element through your DOM, and then it will create a input tag or input field dynamically. And once you click on that add button option, where did it go? This add option button. So when you click on this button, it will create you a dynamic input field through JavaScript, and that is what we are achieving through here. Once it is done adding or creating this input field, it is just adding back to this option container, which is your DOM. Alright, so it's not a big thing. So this is your index.html. Now we need poll to create a poll. So poll.html. Now this is much shorter. So here we don't have much. Here we have a single form button. So heading has a question, that poll question we are getting from poll object. In the form we have this input hidden field. This is very important. Here we have poll ID. So once you click on the vote button, then it redirects back with this poll ID, and you have this options, right? Now this is the option ID which we are getting in the controller. So once you click on this submit button, it helps you to create a vote. Now the last is going to be results. So let's create another one. So this is again short. So here we don't have any form button because we just want to display information. So here we have this list. This list is your poll and options. So you have option, through that we are just printing option name. So this should be description, and then votes, right? So if you go to your option class, you have description and then you have votes, and that is what we are printing here. Alright, so we have options, we have description, and then we have votes. Let's check if we made this mistake in other pages also. So option ID, and then this should be description. Alright, now what else? We have vote also, we have index also. So here I think we should be good. Poll, question, option, text, options. Yeah, that's okay. So now what do we need? We just need to run our application. So let's do that. Alright, so we have a failure, and this is in Hibernate. So it says association vote option list targets the type which is not an entity type. Okay, so entity vote. That's okay, we can delete this, we don't require it. So we don't need vote repo also, so let's remove this. Alright, okay, so let's remove this as well. Alright, so again an error, poll service in your configuration. That could not be found. Why? Okay. Alright. Alright, so the application is started. So localhost 8080. Alright, so we have no polls available. Obviously, create a new poll. So let's do question 1, option 1, add option. Here let's do option 2, create poll, and we have available polls. Now if I click on view results, okay, I got this error, poll 1 results. I was really confident that this is going to work in a single go. Entity poll, okay. Oh, this is private, so okay, what's the issue? Property of field options cannot be found on an object. Alright, okay. So let's go to your page results, and from where are we throwing this page back? We are throwing this page through our controller. So let's open that up. Here we are providing poll. Let's dig deep into this. Let's close everything up. Now let's open this results page again. So here we have poll dot options, but in our poll we don't have options, we have option list, right? So here instead of options we have to do options list. Now let's refresh. Okay, so in IntelliJ we have to rerun this, so that's sad. Alright, let's click on view results, and as you can see we have the title here, current standing as 00, right? Let's go back, let's click on this submit page, and now this is not working. Okay, why doesn't everything work on a single go? Okay, so on this we are going to this poll page, and here we again have options instead of option list. No worries. Let's restart the application. Alright, now let's click on the submit button, and we see options. Yay! Now let's do option 1 first. Click on vote, click on view results, and here you can see number 1 vote. Now let's submit again, and let's do option 2, vote. Refresh this, and you see 2. Now let's create another question. Let's do question 2, and option 1 and option 2, create poll. Let's first do view results. So here we have poll 2 results 00. Submit vote, vote. Refresh this, and you have 1 and 2 vote, and you have 1. If I do 1, we have this. So everything is working fine. Now what did we do? Let's summarize. We created a way to create a poll, which means to add a new question and provide multiple options, right? Then we submitted a vote on a particular question, then we tried to see the results. What else we can do here? we can provide a way to edit a poll, as in if you mistakenly provided something else and you wanted to do something else, right? So in that case there should be an option to edit the existing poll. Second, if you want to delete a poll, you should be able to. You should not be able to alter the questions submitted by the user. And what else, I think you can also provide an option to provide name. If the user want to provide name while submitting the vote, then also you can do that. And yeah, this is pretty much what you can do. There can be a lot more enhancement, but for now you can try with that. If not, I'll try to make a part 2 section on this video and we will go further with that, right? So this is it for this video. I really hope that you learned something new, and if you have any questions you can always let me know on the comment section. I'll try to be as responsive as I can, and we will meet in some another video. Till then, have a good day, stay safe, and bye bye.